Urologist reveals 3 simple daily habits that let you sleep through the night. Imagine a conversation that could give you back your nights. A conversation about ending those frustrating, sleep-depriving trips to the bathroom that have somehow become a normal part of your life. If you're like most men over 60, you probably chalk it up to just one thing. I'm just getting older. It is what it is. But what if that's not the whole story? What if the real culprits are 3 simple daily habits you might be overlooking right now? Now, these aren't folk remedies or internet rumors. They are practical strategies, backed by solid medical research from respected publications, like the Journal of Urology. In my 18 years of clinical practice, I have seen these simple changes completely transform the lives of thousands of men who thought their best years were behind them. My name is Dr. Audrey Wells, and in this video, I'm going to share 3 no-cost, science-backed habits that can help protect your prostate and allow you to reclaim your quality of life. And I promise you this, at least one of them is going to surprise you. All right, so we've talked about the problem, that frustration, those nightly interruptions. Now, let's get into the solutions, the practical, actionable steps you can start taking today. And every claim I share is backed by peer-reviewed science, not rumors or scare tactics. We're going to begin with habit number 1. Habit number 1, strategic hydration. The first habit isn't just about drinking more water. I'm sure you've heard that advice 1,000 times. This is different. It's a specific method that I call strategic hydration. It's not just what you drink, but when and how you drink it that makes all the difference for your prostate health and your sleep. But here's a critical mistake many men make, a very common one. They have a busy day, they forget to drink much of anything, and then evening rolls around. They get home, realize they're thirsty, and they start to chug water, one big glass after another, trying to catch up on their hydration right before bed. On the surface, it seems like the right thing to do, but in reality, this is like setting a timer on your bladder to wake you up, again and again all night long. Good intentions, but terrible timing. This well-meaning habit is actually one of the biggest contributors to those nightly bathroom trips. So why is this a problem? Why is strategic hydration so effective? It comes down to a simple biological process. When your body is dehydrated, even mildly, your kidneys work to conserve water. The result is that your urine becomes highly concentrated. Instead of being a light, pale yellow, it becomes darker, denser, and filled with waste products and acidic compounds. This concentrated urine does 2 very harmful things to your system. First, it acts as a direct irritant to the sensitive lining of your bladder. An irritated bladder is an overactive bladder. It gets twitchy. It sends urgent signals to your brain saying, "I need to empty now," even when it isn't full. This creates that constant nagging feeling of urgency. Second, and this is crucial, this irritating fluid passes right through the urethra, which runs directly through the center of your prostate gland. Over time, this constant exposure to concentrated inflammatory urine can contribute to chronic inflammation within the prostate itself. It's like pouring a mild acid over an already sensitive area, day after day. This inflammation is a key driver of prostate enlargement and the very symptoms you're trying to avoid. And this isn't just theory. The science on this is becoming incredibly clear. A cornerstone study published in the prestigious Journal of Urology looked at the habits of thousands of men. Researchers found that the men who consistently drank less than 50 ounces of water daily, that's about 6 glasses, reported significantly more severe and frequent urinary symptoms. But here's the most powerful part. Separate research has demonstrated that when men simply shift the timing of their fluid intake, they can experience up to a 40% reduction in nighttime urinary frequency. 40%. Think about that for a moment. That's potentially cutting your nightly bathroom trips almost in half without a single pill or an expensive procedure, just by changing when you drink your water. To put it simply, think of it like this. Concentrated urine is like fine grit sandpaper rubbing against the delicate lining of your urinary tract. It's abrasive, it's irritating, it causes friction and inflammation. Proper, strategic hydration, on the other hand, turns that sandpaper into silk. The urine becomes diluted, smooth, and soothing as it passes through your system. It cleanses without irritating. Your bladder is calm. Your prostate is not being constantly aggravated. It's a simple change with a profound effect. So how can you incorporate this into your routine safely and effectively? It's very straightforward. The rule is simple. Drink at least 70% of your total daily water intake before 6 p.m. Here's what that looks like in a typical day. First, start your morning with a full 12 to 16 ounce glass of water as soon as you wake up. This rehydrates your body after a long night's sleep and gets your system going. Second, keep a water bottle with you throughout the day. Don't wait until you're thirsty. Just sip on it consistently through the morning and into the afternoon. Your goal is to have consumed the vast majority of your water by the time you sit down for dinner. Finally, after 6 or 7 in the evening, you taper off. This doesn't mean you can't drink anything. If you're thirsty, of course, sip water. But you avoid the large glasses. You avoid chugging an entire bottle. Your hydration work for the day is already done. This simple shift keeps your body well hydrated without overloading your bladder during the hours you're supposed to be asleep. I had a client, Robert, a 72-year-old retired engineer. He came to me absolutely exhausted. He told me, "Dr. Wells, I feel like a zombie. I'm up 4, sometimes 5 times a night. I can't remember the last time I slept for more than 2 hours straight." He was skeptical when I first explained strategic hydration. It sounded too simple. But he was desperate, so he agreed to try it for 1 week. He came back the next week, and I could see the difference in his face before he even said a word. He looked rested. He smiled and said he was only waking up once a night now. Sometimes, not at all. He couldn't believe it. And he discovered the incredible synergy here, the powerful domino effect. By implementing this one habit, he started sleeping deeply through the night. And what does better sleep do? It dramatically lowers your levels of cortisol, the body's main stress hormone. Lower cortisol means less chronic, body-wide inflammation, and that includes inflammation in the prostate. It's a powerful, positive feedback loop. One simple habit creates multiple layers of benefits for your entire body. If getting a full night's sleep sounds good to you, let me know in the comments. Just type the word sleep down below. Now that we've covered the crucial role of when you drink, let's move on to our next point. This one is about incorporating gentle movement into your day in a very specific and very powerful way. Let's talk about habit number 2. Habit number 2, the post-meal walk. The second habit is incredibly simple but profound. I call it the 15-minute post-meal walk. It's exactly what it sounds like. A short, gentle walk taken immediately after your main meals. And I know what some of you might be thinking. A walk? That's it? That sounds too easy to make any real difference. And that leads us to the big mistake. The common mistake is believing that for exercise to be effective, it has to be intense. It has to be a strenuous gym workout that leaves you sweaty and breathless. Because of this all or nothing mindset, most men do nothing, especially after a meal. The most common habit after dinner is to collapse on the couch, turn on the TV, and stay there for the rest of the evening. And from a physiological standpoint, this is one of the worst things you can do for your prostate health and for your overall metabolic health. So why is this simple walk so powerful? What is the science behind it? Walking right after a meal does 2 critical things for a man's body, especially as you get older. First, it immediately improves blood circulation, particularly to your core and pelvic region. When you sit for a long period after eating, blood flow can become stagnant, but gentle movement acts like a pump. It encourages your blood vessels to deliver a fresh supply of oxygen and vital nutrients directly to all the tissues in your lower abdomen. and that includes your prostate gland. A well-nourished prostate is a healthier prostate. This improved circulation helps reduce inflammation and supports the gland's normal function. The second reason is arguably even more important. It has to do with blood sugar. After any meal, especially one containing carbohydrates, your blood glucose levels will naturally rise. A large, rapid spike in blood sugar is a major driver of systemic inflammation throughout your entire body. It's like pouring gasoline on a fire, and chronic inflammation is a well-known enemy of prostate health. A simple walk acts as a buffer. It uses up some of that immediate glucose for energy, preventing a dramatic spike. This helps to stabilize your blood sugar levels, which in turn lowers the inflammatory response. And the scientific proof on this is compelling. Research published in the Diabetes and Metabolic Syndrome Journal confirms a strong, undeniable link between poor blood sugar control and faster, more aggressive prostate growth. It's a direct correlation. Furthermore, studies looking specifically at lifestyle habits are just as clear. A comprehensive review showed that older men who consistently incorporate short post-meal walks into their daily routine have up to a 35% lower risk of developing severe prostate complications compared to their sedentary counterparts. 35%. That is not a small number. It's a significant, measurable protective effect from one of the simplest habits imaginable. Here's an analogy to make it simple. Imagine your circulatory system is a highway system, and your blood cells are delivery trucks carrying essential packages of oxygen and nutrients. When you sit on the couch right after a big meal, you create a massive traffic jam, especially on the local roads leading to your pelvic region. Everything slows down, deliveries get delayed, congestion builds up. But a gentle 15-minute walk is like sending out a fleet of traffic controllers. They open up the lanes. They get the trucks moving smoothly and efficiently. That walk ensures a priority delivery of those vital nutrient packages right to your prostate's front door. It's a simple way to keep the supply lines open and prevent gridlock. So how do you actually do this? How do you put it into practice? It couldn't be easier, and there's no need to overcomplicate it. After your lunch, and again after your dinner, simply get up and take a gentle 10 to 15-minute walk. That's it. The pace does not matter. You don't need to power walk. You don't need to sweat. A comfortable stroll is perfect. The goal here is not an intense cardio workout. The goal is simply to move your body and aid its natural digestive and metabolic processes. You can walk around your block, you can walk on a treadmill, you can even just walk around your house if the weather is bad. The location is not important. The movement is everything. I want to tell you about that same client I mentioned earlier, Robert, the 68-year-old gentleman. After he got his sleep back on track with strategic hydration, he was ready to try something else. So I told him about the post-meal walk. He was a bit hesitant at first. He said, "Doc, after dinner is my time to relax with my wife and watch the news." I suggested he invite his wife to join him, make it their new ritual. He tried it. And 2 weeks later, he told me it had changed his evenings completely. He said, "That little walk, it's the best part of my day now. My wife and I talk more. I feel less bloated after dinner, and I swear, I just feel lighter, more energetic." The real magic was in the synergy, the powerful combination of the habits. He was already sleeping better from the hydration strategy. Now, by adding the walk, he was stabilizing his blood sugar and further reducing inflammation. The synergy is this: you are not just walking to protect your prostate. You are simultaneously protecting your heart. You are protecting your brain. You are improving your digestion and even strengthening your relationship. It's a perfect example of a small habit that delivers a huge return on your investment. We've covered hydration. We've covered movement. Both are essential pillars for your health. But now, we need to talk about the third habit, and I want to prepare you because this one is perhaps the most misunderstood, and it might challenge what you've heard for years. Let's discuss habit number 3. Habit number 3, healthy sexual activity. Now for our third habit, which I'll frame this way. maintaining a healthy sexual life with a focus on quality, not just quantity. This is a delicate subject, but it's far too important to ignore when we're talking about prostate health and overall male vitality. For years, men have been told a very simple story. A landmark study out of Harvard followed over 30,000 men for decades and concluded that a higher frequency of ejaculation was linked to a lower risk of prostate cancer. From that study, a simple message emerged: more is better, and this led to a common mistake. The mistake is believing that all forms of sexual release are created equal, that they all provide the same physiological and hormonal benefits for your prostate. The truth is that the science is far more nuanced than that. The latest research is beginning to show that it's not just about the frequency of the release, but the context of the release that matters. So why is this the case? Why isn't it as simple as more is better? Science is now making a distinction between two types of activity: partnered intimacy and solo activity. Physiologically, they are not the same. Partnered intimacy, which involves physical touch, emotional connection, and affection, triggers a powerful and complex cascade of beneficial hormones in the brain and body. It significantly boosts oxytocin, often called the bonding hormone, which has powerful anti-inflammatory and stress-reducing effects. At the same time, it lowers levels of cortisol, the body's primary stress hormone. As we've already discussed, chronic high cortisol is a major driver of inflammation throughout the body, including in the prostate. So partnered intimacy creates this beneficial hormonal cocktail. It's a symphony of signals that tell your body to relax, to repair, and to reduce inflammation. Excessive solo activity, on the other hand, does not appear to provide this same rich hormonal balance. While it does result in a release, it can sometimes be performed in a way that leads to tension in the pelvic floor muscles. Over time, this chronic tension can actually irritate the prostate and the surrounding nerves, potentially contributing to the very symptoms men are trying to avoid. And again, this isn't just a theory. Emerging science is pointing in this direction. A fascinating study published in 2016 in the peer-reviewed BJU International Journal looked at this very issue. Researchers observed a surprising link. They found that older men who reported very frequent solo masturbation actually had a slightly higher incidence of lower urinary tract symptoms, things like urgency and frequency, compared to men who were regularly sexually active with a partner. The researchers hypothesized that the lack of the physiological and psychological balancing effects found in partnered intimacy could be a contributing factor. This study challenges the old, oversimplified idea that a simple number is all that matters. Here's an analogy that might help clarify this. Think of it like music. A solo instrument can be nice. It can play a simple, pleasant melody. That's one level of benefit. But a full orchestra, that's something entirely different. The orchestra, which represents partnered intimacy, brings together strings, woodwinds, percussion, and brass. It creates a rich, complex, and layered symphony of sound. In the same way, partnered intimacy creates a complex symphony of hormonal and physiological benefits. It's the oxytocin, the reduced cortisol, the improved circulation, and the emotional connection all working together in harmony. This symphony provides a much deeper, more holistic level of protection for your entire system. So, how do you practically apply this understanding? The focus should shift from quantity to quality. If you have a partner, nurturing that physical and emotional intimacy is one of the very best things you can do for your long-term prostate health and your overall well-being. It's about connection, not just a number. It's a vital part of a holistic health plan. This is not to say that solo activity is inherently harmful. It is a normal part of human sexuality. But the long-held belief that it is a cure-all for prostate health or that mechanically pursuing a high number is the primary goal is an oversimplification that we need to move past. The real synergy here is about holistic health. It's about understanding that your emotional state and your physical state are deeply intertwined. The emotional connection, the stress reduction, and the sense of well-being that come from a healthy, intimate relationship create a powerful, positive feedback loop. This loop helps to break the cycle of chronic stress and inflammation that affects not just your prostate, but your heart, your immune system, and even your brain. It's about treating yourself as a whole person, not just a collection of parts. This is a new perspective for many men. It moves beyond a simple mechanical view of health and embraces a more complete picture of what helps us thrive as we age. If this perspective is new to you or if it gave you something to think about, let me know in the comments. Simply type the phrase "new view" down below. It helps me know what topics are resonating the most with you. So let's quickly bring everything together. We've explored 3 powerful science-backed keys to support your long-term prostate health. First, hydrate early in the day to soothe your system and reclaim your sleep. Second, walk gently after your meals to improve circulation and fight inflammation. And third, focus on quality sexual health, understanding its holistic benefits for your body. But knowledge without action is just entertainment. It doesn't create change. So here is your simple action plan for this week. First, I want you to start tomorrow morning with 1 full glass of water, right after you wake up. Just one simple start. Second, after dinner tomorrow evening, I want you to take just one single 15-minute walk. And third, and this is so important, if you haven't seen a urologist in over a year, I want you to find a moment this week to pick up the phone and schedule that checkup. Proactive care is the cornerstone of good health. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Dr. Wells, I'm 75, I'm 80. Is it too late for this to make a difference? Let me answer you clearly. It is never too late. I have seen men in their 70s and 80s adopt these exact habits and feel a dramatic improvement in their quality of life. You have the power to take control, starting today. Because remember, this isn't just about avoiding a few extra trips to the bathroom. This is about something much bigger. This is about your independence, your dignity. It's about having the energy and the freedom to live life on your own terms, without being a prisoner to symptoms that you can manage. Your future self is counting on the small, wise choices you make today. So if you're ready to take back control, I invite you to join our community of men who are committed to their health. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss our future science-backed guides. And more importantly, commit to yourself right now. Go to the comments section below and write 2 simple words. I'm starting. This is your public declaration, your day 1. And be sure to watch my next video, where we'll explore the #1 food that can secretly fuel prostate inflammation. Until then, stay informed and stay in control of your health.